A few years ago, a college student named Claire moved into a small off-campus apartment. It wasn't fancy, but it was cheap, and she lived alone for the first time. Within her first month, she noticed strange things. At night, she'd hear scratching sounds above her bed. At first, she thought it was just rats in the ceiling. She asked her landlord, who brushed it off, and said, "Old buildings always make noise." But then, food started going missing. Small things at first: a granola bar, half a loaf of bread. Claire thought she was just forgetful. Until one morning, she woke up to find the refrigerator door wide open. She was sure she closed it the night before. The noises above her got louder too. Sometimes she heard faint shuffling, sometimes whispering. One night, around 3 a.m., she was woken up by the sound of heavy breathing. Not above her, not in another room, but directly outside her bedroom door. Claire grabbed her phone and dialed 911, whispering what was happening. The operator told her to stay on the line until officers arrived. When the police searched the apartment, they didn't find anyone. But one of the officers noticed something odd. The panel to the crawl space in the ceiling was slightly ajar. They pulled it open, shined a flashlight, and froze. Inside was a sleeping bag, food wrappers, a notebook, and a man. He had been living in her ceiling for weeks, climbing down during the day when she was in class or asleep, stealing food, watching her, waiting. Claire moved out the next day. She still can't fall asleep unless she checks the ceilings first. Because now she knows, sometimes the noises aren't rats. Sometimes someone really is up there. In the frozen Arctic, a ship cuts through sheets of ice. The sailors spot a man half dead, drifting across the wasteland. His name is Victor Frankenstein. Before he takes his last breath, Victor shares a story. A story that begins years earlier in Geneva. Victor was a brilliant young scientist, obsessed with life, death, and the secrets that bind them. He studied day and night, driven by a single idea: to create life itself. He raided graveyards, collected bones, flesh, and organs. And in the darkness of his laboratory, he stitched together a body. On one stormy night, lightning cracked the sky. Victor's experiment succeeded. The creature opened its eyes. But instead of triumph, Victor felt terror. The being was hideous, towering, with yellow, soulless eyes. Victor abandoned it instantly. The creature, left alone, wandered the world. It was not mindless. It was intelligent. It taught itself to speak, to read, to feel. And yet everywhere it went, people screamed. They threw stones. They ran. The creature wanted love. It only found rejection. At last, it confronted its creator. It begged Victor, "Make me a companion, someone who will not fear me." Victor hesitated, then agreed. But before finishing, he destroyed the second creature. He could not risk creating a race of monsters. That single act doomed him. Enraged, the creature swore vengeance. It killed Victor's younger brother, his best friend, and finally, his bride, Elizabeth. On their wedding night, Victor found her lifeless body. The creature had taken everything. Driven by rage, Victor pursued the creature across mountains, rivers, and frozen wastelands. He would not rest until his creation was destroyed. But in the Arctic, Victor's strength finally gave out. And that is how he ended up on the sailor's ship, telling his story before death claimed him. When the sailors returned, they found Victor's lifeless body. But beside him stood the creature. It was weeping. Not with pride, but with sorrow. It confessed it never wanted to be evil. It only wanted love. But Victor's rejection had turned it into a monster. The creature promised to end its own life, to vanish into the frozen north, never to be seen again. So ends the tale of Victor Frankenstein. A man who reached too far, who tried to play God, and paid the price. Because sometimes, the real monster is the one who creates. Highways are supposed to take us from one place to another. They connect cities, towns, and people. But some stretches of road lead only to silence. Across the world, certain highways have earned terrifying reputations. Places where travelers vanish without a trace. Places where the road seems to swallow people whole. One of the most infamous is in Canada, known as the Highway of Tears. A lonely, 700-kilometer stretch of road in British Columbia. Since the late 1960s, more than 80 people, mostly Indigenous women and girls, have disappeared or been murdered here. Their cases remain unsolved. Their families still searching for answers. Truckers passing through at night have reported seeing lone figures walking the shoulder, only to vanish when headlights reach them. Some believe killers still stalk the road. Others whisper that the highway itself is cursed. But this isn't the only one. In the United States, Interstate 45 Texas has become known as the Highway to Hell. Since the 1907, over 30 young women have disappeared along this stretch. Many of their bodies were later found in an area now nicknamed the Killing Fields. Decades of police work have led to multiple suspects, but no single explanation. No single killer. Just an endless pattern of disappearances. Then, there's Mexico's Highway 40, running through the Sierra Madre Mountains. Travelers often go missing here too. Buses hijacked, entire groups of people erased from the road. Locals say it's the cartels. Others say something darker haunts those winding passes. And even in Europe, stories persist. In France, the A7 has seen a series of unsolved vanishings. Cars abandoned by the roadside, engines still running, headlights on, but no driver. What makes these highways so dangerous? Some say it's geography, remote stretches of land where help is far away. Others say it's predators, serial killers, who hunt travelers who are alone and vulnerable. And some believe it's something beyond explanation. Because when someone vanishes on a highway, they leave behind no warning, no goodbye. Just an empty road an abandoned vehicle, and questions that may never be answered. So the next time you're driving late at night, headlights cutting through the dark, and you feel that chill in your spine, remember, not everyone who sets out on the highway makes it to the other side.